Hello, guys. So it's like, I don't know, like 11 o'clock ish. What time is it, Gracie?
Um, 10:53.
It's 10:53. And anyway, so just got back from church not too long ago, and it's like raining and storming here, like really loud in December. And it's been a really crazy December. But, anyways, what I'm coming on here about is I was listening to the rain, listening to the thunder, and like whenever I was a kid, I used to be terrified of storms. Like, they really freaked me out. Like, the wind, the lightning, and all that mess. And I had, like, the biggest fear of tornadoes and stuff. So, anyways, I was just sitting here thinking, and, sometimes, like, in life, how stuff's chaotic and, like, how storms can be chaotic and stuff. Um, and like the older that I've gotten and stuff, I can listen to like the thunder and the rain, and it's just like peaceful to me. Like, I just love hearing the rain and stuff. But and I got to thinking, sometimes in the storm, he calms you. Sometimes in the storm, at times in life, you are overwhelmed, and I'm talking about like mentally and physically, like or like mental storms or life storms or like just real life storms. But in like the like everyday life things, like situations that occur and stuff, like sometimes in those storms in your life, he will calm you, and sometimes he will make things like overwhelming and just sort of like fretful. But and I got to thinking, Gracie's over here, she's sort of throwing me off guard. She's on YouTube on her phone. But I'm thankful that, for one, there's a God, and you can put your fully trust in Him, and you can rely on Him with any storm in your life. So sometimes in your life it feels like a hurricane, a tornado, and it's like, when is it going to stop? But in those times, if you're silent enough and if you just put your faith in God, you can feel Him the strongest there. And the peace that He sends you is just amazing. And I'm just thankful that all of the storms in my life that I've had. Sometimes I didn't think I was going to get through them, but He was always there and always on time. And I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it sounds, hear the thunder. Perfect timing. Um, but I'm thankful, for everything that He's done for me and my family and stuff. And at first I was a bit overwhelmed about, having to have this thinking surgery and stuff, and like all that mess. But whatever's going to be is going to be. Even in life, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We've got to realize to 100% put your trust in God, because if you don't, it's just going to be a uphill stormy battle. Like, seriously, it's going to be just a lot of anxiousness and worriness. Like, why worry when you can pray and let God have His way, and let God take over, and let God be God? He's ahead of us, He's behind us, He's everywhere. So I'm just thankful for that. That was just a thought. Even in the midst of a storm, God can calm you. He can calm you. Whatever problem you have, whatever storm you're faced with in life, that they could be peace within that storm. And as I just sat here and was listening to this, I was thinking about that. And God is just so good, and He's faithful, and He's always on time. And He has never failed me. Not one time has God ever failed me. There's times in my life that I wanted God to do things right then and there, but it wasn't His timing. And I'm just thankful that God has that perfect timing. He knows when to intercede. He knows when to step in. He knows when to take control. He knows when to make that storm be still. Whenever he says, peace, be still, guess what? God is in control. And he'll make that storm be still. If he wants that storm to rage, and whether it's us to learn something through that storm, guess what? He's going to let it go. But during that storm, God's your protector. He is everything you need. He is your shelter in the midst of the storm. He's your peace. He's your strength. He's everything. So why worry when you're in a storm of your life? Why worry whenever you know that God's there? And if he hadn't failed you yet, he ain't going to. He's, if you can look back and see all the things that God's done to you, done for you and your family, he's not going to give up on you yet. And I'm just glad that all the storms in my life that I've been through, he calmed those storms. Sometimes they were still going in life, but God was in the midst of my storm. He calmed me. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful that I'm hearing that's like the rain and the thunder, because that just like reoccurred to my spirit, and I'm thankful for God and his goodness and his mercy and everything. We went to church tonight, and Pastor Jeff did an amazing service or a message. It was really good. Hear the rain. I just love hearing that. It's peaceful. But I'm glad that God is your healer and your deliverer. I cannot really thank him enough for everything that he's done for me. And the more that you worry about something and you keep thinking on it, your outcome in your mind's going to be something totally different than what the outcome's even going to be, So, just whatever storm in your life that you're faced with or going through, just stand still and let God move in his own timing. His timing's perfect, and it may not be in the timing that you want it to be, but just know God is your protector, and he will watch over you. God knows his own, and I'm thankful that God chose me to be, the one that's, set out aside, and I'm just a willing vessel, and I just want to do everything that I can, do for God, because, I believe, how the world is. Time's getting short, and, we've heard that saying, time's winding down, but really and truly, even if the world don't end 4 years from now, our time's winding down. The moment you're born, we have a time that we're going to die. So we need to be ready. We need to seek God. We need to pray. We need to fast. We need to, let our light shine for others. And just know that God loves you all. And whatever storm you're going through, pray. Hang in there, because God's got this. And anyways, until next time, I'm going to get off here. It's getting late. So just know that there's peace in the midst of the storm, guys. Talk to you guys later. Love y'all.